All right, hello everyone. I'll be presenting the project I did on RAD system. And in this project, I work on question and answering system for clerks of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The reason why I came up with this idea is I noticed that clerks in world, states, branch, and districts, especially the newly called one, they struggle with questions because of improper training from their predecessors. So this RAG system will help them to ask questions they need in performing their duty very well. Now, in doing this project, I made use of Llama Index, the front end being Net.js and the back end using Fast API. Then the project was deployed on Render. I also made use of Jupyter Notebook to do my analysis, both the data analysis and the evaluation. The project made use of Python 3.11, and then I made use of OpenAI embedding and generation model. All right, so at first, the first thing I did was to create a repo which I created locally. I also installed Llama Index. In the course of the project, I experimented with several generation models. Example being, I used Mixtra. I also made use of OpenAI ChatGPT and some other ones which I will talk about. And then the model was deployed on Render. I also wrote a crawler that crawled general handbook and also cleaned the data and then performed some exploratory data analysis and evaluation on my data set. Before I crawled, I ensured that I checked robot.txt to ensure that the church website is crawlable. So I will quickly go through the overview of RAG system, why we need RAG system. RAG system is needed because we want to answer questions based on the documents we have. So those documents are embedded and stored in the vector database. So we can query this database and get answers from them. And most of these answers are almost accurate if the retrieval process is gotten very well, and then get our responses. However, this can be made better. I'll call this a RAG triad. Sometimes we can query the vector database and we find it difficult to get relevant chunks to answer our query. So that's the reason why we must ensure or run analysis or an evaluation to ensure that the right chunks comes from our database to answer the query from the LLM. And also, we also have the challenge of answer relevance in a case where the response gotten does not really answer the query. So we need to either work with the prompt to ensure that the response and the query matches very well. So I will walk you through what I did because of the project. So the first thing I did was to write the crawler script to crawl the handbook of instruction from the church website. And from the crawlers, from what I got a markdown file, which I converted to PDF. So after doing that, I passed the PDF to the Llama Index, and I was able to analysis I did. To get my label data, I made use of a forum, which is the church forum, where clerks come and ask questions, and then they get response from it. So I got all the data, which is this, which is about 50 questions, the response to the link. In order to ensure that the questions are not repeated, I did some analysis and cleaned up my label data. Okay, so while trying to clean it up first, I gave the top 10 data coming from my label data. Then I also ensure that because what I actually want to work on is the question, to ensure that the questions are not repeated. And then if there are short questions, I ensure that I remove them from the data. So I got the question part from data frame, and then I give them their histogram to know the number of wordings. There are some questions with about 16 wordings. That's 9 questions with about 16 wordings. We have about 6 questions with about 2 wordings. So I ensure that any wording that is less than 5, which is it might not be relevant to what we want for what I want for the project. And after running this, I discovered that the number of questions with length that is less than 5 is 0. And for the ones that are greater than 10, I got 21 of them. Of course, from 5 and above, I assumed that to be relevant questions. And then I also did this to ensure that I have the length of each questions and the questions. And after doing this, I created an embedding for the questions in order to find questions of similar meaning or context, so I can match them together and become one. So I can have non-repeated data in my legal data set. So after doing that, I removed the duplicates, and after removing duplicates, I was able to get 42. I also used dendrogram to build the questions, and I discovered that some questions are similar. Like, pick for instance, here where we have similar color. How do I manage member updates for new movements? And how do I update member record when someone moving? These are nearly similar questions, which should be one. I was able to also see some, a lot of them like this. What should I do if I encounter error in LCR? And what should I do if I encounter issue with LCR access? So I was able to also match this into one and several of them. So at the end of the day, I was able to get 42 clean questions, which I used as my legal data. And okay, so from there, I did some clustering on it, and I was able to, using the KB clustering, to ensure that these questions are unique. And I was able to come up with this. And yes, I plot each of the data points to see how close most of these questions are. These are 42 data points. And for each of them, I think some are a bit close, but not packed together. And some are far apart. Then in the end, I was able to save my question to a CSV file, which I used for my evaluation. On doing the evaluation, I passed in, I used what's it called, the questions I passed in the questions to my data to get response. So I have an AI generated response and the response from the label data. Then I did embedding for these two data and then find the cosine similarity to know how close these questions are. And from there, I discovered that it's really performed well. I got a very good cosine similarity score. And I didn't bother because I had about 0.89, which is very high. So I didn't bother for the analysis. So I used that to test my RAG system to see if it works well. And my group it's answer so I would like to show the responses I got from that. All right, so this is the app, and if I ask, these are some of the questions from the label data. What are the responsibilities of an assistant clerk? All right, so these are the responses I got from it. it highlights the responsibility of an assistant clerk, and one could come here, check for the responsibility of an assistant clerk, do, and there are several questions in which I tested with this. And from the app, I ensure that it retrieves the top 3 documents. So it will share it also shows the source of the document from the handbook, which is the PDF that I use to answer these questions. And then so last from each of these 3 documents, it will tell you where it got the answers from. So that's all about the project. Thank you.